Chapter 47. Finally, Mechajaw. Mechajaw, you already know who he is, making Pod's life as hard as it can be. With the Legion's lack of activity towards the universe, Mechajaw has an open season that you would have to read on for, but for now, he is working on what he has been working on for ages, diminishing any intelligent race so the universe can be wildlife only, meaning no complicated conflicts like war or politics. He wants a natural universe, with no races taking advantage of one another. Like the earliest Morphils including Pod, Mechajaw had his original life form, only to be remolded into what could have been the best guardian around, only for that notion to backfire. In the animal kingdom, one animal fighting with another for territory or food is one thing, but using science or technology to play God is a line he doesn't want to pass. At the moment, he is fighting some jawsharps, notorious for trying to ambush Xyanthor. But while preserving the Shros, lizard-like creatures which live within the planet, Mushru, the land of mushrooms. As the carnage pursues, the jawsharps try their best to fight the Morphils, using their minor ice abilities like freezing gas and ice balls which roll as they get bigger. Not to mention trying to slash at Morphils is not easy considering that the Morphils' skin is tricky. This results in the Morphils doing all sorts to the jawsharps like punching and kicking them to no end. Using their martial arts skills to counter any sword movements as well as the ability which an average Morphil has, sonic punches. A well-charged-up punch from a Morphil is enough to shatter metal because of the sonic wave. It is almost like a lightning strike but more like an explosion. This is an ability Morphils can change from time to time as they actively fight. This means any jawsharp at the end of the punch would have multiple broken bones, and only an average Morphil can do this, not Mechajaw and certainly not Pod. He has his quirks. Not to mention the Morphils have their weapons, a special type of hammer which has sword edges on both ends, making it a blunt weapon which can still cut badly, and the weight is aided by a long handle. These jawsharps quickly get driven to extinction, with no Morphil losing to them. And with the far bigger numbers, but it's Mechajaw who is a walking slaughterhouse. He has a wide range of weapons, which are all embodied within his arms. Not only is his skin harder thanks to netroparticles within his skin, but he also wears a netro suit underneath a more built-up Morphil body, a body with metallic bonds and wiring, making him a cyborg. His arm weapons consist of a blunt weapon, like a baseball bat that coats around his forearm, a clam to grab and clutch at foes, and a laser cannon with explosive lasers and a laser blade, and he uses them well to fight his foes in an animalistic manner, even biting at foes as an extra ability. He uses all of his advantages against the jawsharps, driving the whole race to extinction. After finishing sorting out that planet, he plans to go to another one, but he runs on a heat-emitting obsidian which is running low now, and now needs replacing, after sorting out many planets. Now that Mechajaw and the Morphils have invaded earlier, they all have returned to their homeworld Orn. Mechajaw is running out of energy, and the heat-emitting obsidian is running out. He needs to find another alternative source, otherwise he is done for. And so the Morphils help replaces the obsidian as his chest piece opens and then closes, making him more ready for anything, but he is very worried at the same time. Now he is finished up, he gets the Morphils to go away. Before Mechajaw could plan what to do next, considering which planet to go for next while also wondering about alternatives to the heat-emitting obsidian, he was contacted by Xyanthor via the communication spell. And with Mechajaw telling other Morphils to give him some privacy, talking down on the Morphils as he normally does. Xyanthor talks with Mechajaw about the fact that aside from Xyanthor's main 5 allies, only Mechajaw and the Morphils can help with the element-searching quest and go for the right races to target, especially with no Dian nor Legion about, making it easier. Mechajaw initially disagrees, keen to make the whole universe a massive zoo of wildlife. But Xyanthor strongly challenges that it's the threats against him and even Mechajaw that need to be stopped. Xyanthor wants to take the lives of those who abuse their power, whether they are a threat to him, or to prevent needless havoc like crime and conflicts that could affect the universe. This means that Xyanthor will keep some intelligent races towards other useful aspects like trading, farming, politics and even the economy. Mechajaw gets extremely defensive, stating that he is taking down threats by taking down those who are intelligent, even hinting that Xyanthor and his remains could be part of Mechajaw's list. Xyanthor then threatens Mechajaw, talking about how Xyanthor can handle all elements and Mechajaw can't, Xyanthor is also a race that was considered royal, and this Mechajor doesn't have, leading his cult rather than a genuine clan of royalty. From Xyanthor's words, Mechajor does get mildly intimidated, with Xyanthor's deep echoing voice sending shivers down Mechajor's metallic spine, and Xyanthor tells Mechajor again to get going with the quest. Knowing that a single piece of heat-emitting obsidian does allow enough time to try and find all the elements, meaning Mechajor has days. But on the other hand, Mechajor tries to ask about alternatives, to which Xyanthor says he will provide infinite energy for Mechajor so Mechajor does not need to swap any more obsidian in his body. But Mechajor is also guessing that he could find the forms of energy only to die. As Xyanthor keeps belittling Mechajor, Mechajor cannot find a reason from Xyanthor why Xyanthor would want to keep Mechajor alive other than being part of the clan of finding elements. This means Mechajor could be thrown away once the elements are all found. And yes, Xyanthor does remind Mechajor what the elements are, what they look like, when they were last used, and not to mention that the Legion and Earth are the primary targets considering they have taken down most of Xyanthor's forces. Mechajor gets annoyed that he is reminded of the elements again, as well as this Legion which he has been mostly unfamiliar with aside from a couple of details such as rumors of a Morphil being part of it. Plus this Legion could threaten him too. And the rest of the Morphils share the same amount of familiarity. Overall, he wants a permanent energy source himself compared to the limited heat-emitting obsidian, but he doubts that the elements will ever be in his possession. He wants to keep his focus on diminishing smart races after all. On the other hand, Mechajor is keen on the challenge against the Earth, already hearing some tales that Earth does have some of the most intelligent races. Before ending the conversation, Xyanthor tries to be civil with Mechajor, telling him not to be like Xyanthor's targets. Those whom he believes are using power unwisely except for Xyanthor himself. Saying that Mechajor could be rewarded for being a hero who helped the universe, even part of Xyanthor getting his race back once all forms of energy have merged. Mechajor is slightly touched by this, but he does doubt it a couple of times as the call ends, and now, Mechajor gathers his Morphils to get them all going to help Xyanthor. As Xyanthor is also losing allies, with the Legion being mostly responsible for. Torrid certainly didn't make things easier by getting rid of all sorts of races and perhaps adding to any unneeded extinctions too. This makes Torrid a mystery to Xyanthor and the others, but certainly annoyed by him. Also wishing he took down the Legion himself, but at least there are many ways to take down the Legion, Mechajor being one of them.